7 years ago, I developed insomnia and went to see a psychiatrist for help. Instead of helping me resolve the problem that caused the insomnia, he pushed sleeping pills, benzodiazepines, one of the most dangerous drugs on the planet. Now, I'd read the AMA Guide to Better Sleep, so I said, "Doctor, they're harmful, they're damaging, you don't get real sleep, and studies show you perform worse on tasks. Why on earth would I want to take those?" He replied, like any good pusher, "Linda, that's true of the old ones, but the new ones, they're safe and not addictive, and you need to sleep." 2 weeks later, the woman who clearly and firmly said no to drugs came in and wheedled, "I can't stand the taste of these. I want my clonazepam back." Clonazepam. 10 times more powerful than Valium, more addictive than heroin, and I'd been off them for 7 years. The doctor had acknowledged how harmful they were and then gave me bucket loads. Within a very short time, I couldn't write anymore, and I'd spent a decade making a living as a writer. Right, I couldn't even think anymore. The doctor forgot to mention the itty-bitty tiny side effects like brain damage that the drug companies had known about for 30 years but hid that information. He also forgot to mention that they're only safe for 1 month, and after that you're twice as likely to get dementia and 4 times as likely to die. Or that they disable 70% of people who take them. Which I now was. When I went to see my GP and told her I had to quit work, she diagnosed a fibromyalgia relapse. When the drugs stopped working, instead of taking me off them, she added another pill, and then another. By this time, too stunned, stoned, stupefied, and sedated to protest, I immediately took just what the doctor prescribed. Got sicker and weaker. By now, mostly disabled and housebound, my blood pressure was so low I couldn't stand up a lot of the time. Some mornings I even had to crawl to the kitchen for sustenance. My veins started to leak. My face became the size of a hamster or pumpkin. My ankles looked like footballs, and it was getting worse daily. I was terrified I was going to end up in a wheelchair missing some toes. Instead, I realized I was addicted. The benzos hadn't worked in a decade, but I got stoned enough at night I no longer cared. I still had insomnia. I decided to get clean and sober. And while I was at it, quit 4 other useless prescriptions. Now, I still expected to end up in that wheelchair. Instead, to my astonishment, I began to recover my health. Within a few short months, I could stand up each and every day. I was like a happy toddler. Wow, upright, cool. Then, about 6 months later, I glanced in the mirror, and there were my cheekbones and the hereditary family nose. Now, I know it's not a perfect nose, but it's my nose. I prayed I was 3 for 3, and I lifted up the long skirts that covered my ballooning ankles to reveal the skinny white feet that came with the original packaging. Even the pain was massively better. It seemed like a miracle. That's not the end of the story. Benzodiazepines are harder to get off than heroin, crack cocaine, and alcohol combined, because the side effects can last for years. I developed akathisia, depersonalization, clinical depression, hallucinations, none of which I'd ever had before I took sleeping pills. All I had was insomnia. And yet, in spite of that, I recovered 80% of my health. I've quite literally gone from crawling to dancing. I now battle my demons with love, laughter, creativity, and community. I write, perform, exercise, and socialize, all thanks to getting off those demon drugs.